it's 168. It's time to make big boom boom in search of awesome, as we always are. And my very good friend, we go back many, many moons, Miss Pattie Colby. She is State of Mind Salon Day Spa in Crown Point. I consider her to be a Jedi leader of the digital age, the millennials. I'm going to get her talking about how her leadership has changed up and how she continues to blow up sales and her culture in the salon. There's just so much to talk about. I can't wait. Let me tell you, for those of you that haven't met Pattie before, let me tell you why I invited her on the show. She just earned the right. She's grown at about 12 points this year. RTS 14 points last year. She was in double digits the year before that. She just keeps evolving and evolving. And in spite of whatever, it doesn't matter if she took 3 steps back. She'll figure it out and catapult forward. So she's always moving. Haircut, average service ticket is just under $100. Her level 1 haircut price is $40. You know, that's how Summit benchmarks. That's like, what is that? Almost like 2.5 times on her sticker. Salon's new clients cruising at about 200 a month. 60 of those are referrals. Look at that. Her rebook rate is 80%. So every 4 to 6 weeks, you could just see the head count multiply. In any given month, there's 2,200. So you can see that she's running like around 14-15% of new flow. She is, if you Google salons and salon spas in Crown Point, she is on page 1. So Lucas, you'll love that as we take you on the ride. You want to be following Pattie. You want to be following her on Facebook. You're going to be wanting to look at her video libraries. You're going to want to follow the salon on State of Mind. She is just doing some extraordinary things, and she's using some software, some apps, and how she's doing her own commercials. I'm going to get her talking about that tonight. iPhone 8 Plus on her Instagram page, just under over 500 followers, 4,000 on Facebook, and so she's doc locked. She's ready to rock. We're going to get her out and talk about her story a little bit. I'm going to get her talking about her leadership and some scheduling strategies. There's a whole bunch of stuff. So without any further ado, you just keep your fingers crossed. Say a little prayer. We're going to make sure that the Wi-Fi gods are nice to us tonight. And, oh, there she is. Why don't you give it up for you guys?
Hi, Michael.
You look so chilled out and rich and terribly happy. It's just good to have you on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, Pattie, we always begin the story, and you're like the 4th person in your salon company to be on the show. You had 3 of your people. We just had one a couple of weeks ago with Miss Bree, and I want to get you talking about what your life was like before it exploded in the massive success that you've had. So get us going.
Yeah, so we opened State of Mind in 1999. I was behind the chair about 50, 60 hours a week in the salon I worked at, and I was a Redken artist. So I was traveling 2 long weekends every month, and I had 2 babies at home, and it just became too much. So 1999, my husband and I, with our 2 little ones and about $100 in a savings account, decided that it was just time to try to figure it out. So I resigned from the artistic team I was on, and I knew I could still teach people and grow people in my own space. And so in 3 weeks, we found an E location upstairs, and myself and one other friend, we hung a shingle on the wall, and we just started at it.
And then as all the people that come on the show, there are those first of many definable moments that kind of change the trajectory. And I know that that's a big part of your story. Something happened to you, 2-3 years into the game. What was that?
Well, about a year after opening State of Mind, I went to the bankers that loaned me the original $30,000 to do it, and I asked them how I could borrow $1 million, and they told me that it was ambitious, but they gave me a list of things I needed to do, and I asked them how long it would take, and they told me probably 3 years. And so I went back a year later with the list complete, and I said, okay, I'm ready. And so we started building a business plan. We broke ground in August of 2003, and we moved in December 9th of 2003. So we built over 6,000 square foot building in 90 days. We took our team with us, and what I didn't know, but they liked being in a small suite and having that warm, fuzzy studio feeling. And so I ended up losing that team. I rehired another team. I lost that team. And that's when I called my dear friend Kitty, and I said, I'm in over my head and I think I need some big time help. And so Kitty mentored me, got my head on straight, and I got introduced to Roberta. And then Roberta started coaching us monthly. She came to see us. We were financially healthy, but our culture, and myself, was just total chaos.
Yeah, and I was talking to Randy earlier today, and he goes, this was way back when it was KRS. Kitty Victor was your coach, but that began to I started standing witness to the evolution of what now is State of Mind. And so you kind of fast forward like a decade and a half, and you're in a different place. So what's it like to be you? What's it like to be a leader in that salon spa company? What's it like for your people? How is it different now than what it was like before?
Yeah, so they, for a good 11 years, enjoyed an amazing ride of performance-based career path, level jumps, making money, high W-2s, buying houses, going on vacation. Everything was amazing. And then we kind of plateaued in 2017. I had all level 3s and 4s on my team, and nowhere to take them, nowhere to go. And so again, in 2017, we reached back out and said, okay, I think we need a coach. And so we started the whole process all over again.
And you and I were chatting. I mean, like this, I think you told me this year so far you have 17 level jumps going. You've monetized your charts now because your people are getting to levels, higher levels quicker. And you even said we were chatting about some of the metrics. You kind of like outgrown them. You've had to almost hybrid what you're doing.
Yeah, we did. We had to change a lot of things. One of the biggest things we had to change was a result of, I coach monthly, and every month it was pre-books. We had trouble hitting our pre-book goals. And I realized in 2017 that the only way I was going to move forward from having this conversation with the same people every month was to eliminate the pre-book issue. So I gave them access to their schedules on their phone, which was probably one of the scariest business decisions I've ever made. And looking back at it, I think I was fearful of doing that because I thought one person might screenshot their schedule. It was keeping 29 people from moving forward. And once we did that, the game changed for us.
Yeah. And now you have got, I mean, like I said, you're the fourth person from your company that we've had on the show, and you have several people now that are very high into 5-figure W-2s. You've got people in 6-figure, $100,000 and more, and this is in my mind is very unprecedented.
Yeah, and we don't even know that. I mean, we do know it, but
yeah,
we're so busy, we don't even know it.
And you were telling me that because so many young people are coming into the company now, and you've had to change some things up. And this is why I'm wearing my Phoenix bird tonight, because you told me you had a very high productive employee, that it was a very hard conversation, but it was that they just couldn't embrace the evolution of your company, and you continue to go in spite of it.
Yeah, so it's a new day is the coined phrase at State of Mind. It is a new day, and it sometimes is harder for the stylists that had to work 40 hours a week and every Saturday and didn't have the digital access, and things weren't as streamlined. It's really sometimes hard for them to say, well, your younger team doesn't have to do it. Our young talent team doesn't have to do that. And we had to let go of those beliefs. So it was either let them go or stay stifled. And I needed to walk through it, and we had to walk through it together. I love the analogy. We want to be, we don't want to be Blockbuster. We want to be Netflix, and we don't want to be old. We want to be new, and we want to be at the top. Like, that's the only place we want to be.
Yeah, and what this is a very rich part of the conversation we're having here, Pattie, because you and I have had several of these conversations where, you know, the rules of engagement 5-10 years ago when somebody was starting out, you know, there was just a lot of stuff that isn't necessary anymore. And when you bring in newer people, and you've got people that have been with you for many years, they'll see that, and they kind of see that as unjust, it's unfair, and you continue to go, no, it's changed, that this stuff that we were doing is pretty obsolete now. So you don't want to be benchmarking newer people against what you did, and there's a lot of salon owners that don't do that. They just don't have, as Randy would say, the backbone to stand firm.
Yeah, I think the uphill to school in both ways, it's dead. Like, the young talent team that I have, they don't want to hear how hard we had it. Like, they don't listen. They quit listening as soon as you start telling them how hard your life was before them. This team doesn't remember life without the internet.
Yes.
And I'm not talking dial-up. I'm talking like the high-speed stuff. So
right.
They think differently, and given the chance, what they lack in life experience, they are 3 times as willing. So I can give them a project or a blank piece of paper, and I say, design a referral card, and they'll collaborate on it, and I'll have that referral card like in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
They are lightning speed, quick at what they do.
And what's interesting about it is we're a year or two away from having a genre that can't remember not having iPhones. You know, it's one thing to go, gee, they can't remember not having internet. It's, I can't remember having a mobile. But your company now is really modernized for that coming, and it's very exciting. And to watch how fast things are moving in your company, it's profound. Now, where do you go from here? What's next for you?
Yeah, so after we hooked up with Michael Nicholas, and he's collaborating with us and coaching us and visiting regularly, and in addition to getting us level 5 and 6 and probably 7 here pretty soon, he also has helped us put the final touches on the shareholder program, which has always been a lifelong dream of mine. And my lifelong dream was to do it by the time I was 50, and I'm going to be 50 in October. So
happy birthday!
Thank you. So that was just really important to me.
Yeah. Now, there's a whole bunch of people watching tonight, Pattie, and a lot of them are sending you love. A lot of people in your community are watching as well, and they can identify with the story with you. But the main difference is they're standing where you used to be. They're
Sure.
looking at where you're standing, and they're going, okay, so like how possible is this for me? What in your own words, what would they need to be mindful of to make this a reality for them?
Yeah, so legacy has always been super important to me. I had a group of Redken artists wrap their arms around me when I was 19, 20, and never faltered with, I mean, they always kept me, I was like a bowling alley. Their goal was to get me towards the pins and keep me out of the gutter. So my my legacy has always been really important. And I think that I documented what it was I wanted to be about. And anytime I lost my way, I went back to that and I stayed true to it. And my husband, who's my business partner, still sometimes, even 10 years into it, would say, why can't we be like every other salon? And I would be like, you want to be broke? So
yeah.
I would go back to those business practices that the summit taught me, and I would regroup and start over. And I think if I could, that would be my one thing, like find it, figure out who you are, and then stay true to yourself.
Right. Well, I want to reserve a chunk to get you talking about some big changes that you've like pivots you've made in your leadership, your culture, your process. And there's like four keys I want to get you to share with us. The first one, you call it your OMG moments around scheduling, and I love that story. Share that with the world.
Yeah, so our young talent team, when I realized I needed a different philosophy and business practices, and my son, who is a stylist barber with us as well, gives me a lot of insight, and I realized I needed to get out of the salon with them to understand how to adapt and how to relate to them. So every month we go to lunch together. There might be 3 of us, there might be 2, there might be 5, there might be 8, whoever wants to go is welcome. And I just sit and listen and I learn. And what I learned was I thought they wanted one thing, and a specific conversation with a girl that was just going out on the floor, what her biggest concern was is she didn't want to have to stay that extra 2 hours after the 9 to 3 shift until 5, because we had always made our young talent team do that. She wanted to leave at 3. She didn't like feeling like she wasn't part of that team. And so what I thought was important to her didn't even hit her radar. And that was such an easy fix. That was like such an easy thing to do. And it kept them feeling like they belong. And it was just huge. So I take them to lunch. I listen. I started going to summit classes with them. I listened to them. And I've really changed my philosophies about growing them. We used to start out with Foil 101. Our first highlighting class now is hair painting and balayage. We barely teach foiling anymore. I mean, it just all changed.
Yeah. And what's I just love the idea that you pivoted, you repositioned your power and your influence. There's a lot of salons that would say, well, gee, if I change the scheduling, I'm compromising on something, and as a result they blow up their salon. And you grew your people, you grew your culture and your sales by making that subtle but profound pivot around scheduling. It is and continues to be an issue.
The number one
Yep.
issue.
Number 2, you have this thing that you call 33 out of 160. I got to get you talking about that.
Yeah, so there's 33 of us on our team, including my husband, and we've hired 160 people through the life of our salon company, and we have 33. And so for all of the first 3 quarters of our business history, every time someone would leave, either we had to fire them or they quit, I just felt that 100% as a failure. I felt like it was my fault, like it was something I was doing. And about 3 years ago, I pivoted my thinking about that. I thought, I can't keep people on our team that aren't going to be successful because it's not serving me or them. And I have to let them go, or they need to move on, or they need to get about it and stay. But I can't take it as a failure anymore. It's not about me. It's about people growing. And once I made that shift in my brain, we hire slower. We do a 90-day interview process, and then we just sit down and say it's going to work or it's not. So not always that easy, but it's what we try. It's like what we reach for.
And I always go back to the results that, as you call it, 33 out of 160. But when I look at your W-2 range, all of your people are way, way, way above the average, if you will, in income, and your average W-2 is probably 60% higher than the average employee W-2. So the people that make it, I mean, it's best of the best, it's Top Gun, they really are having an extraordinary life for themselves.
Yeah, it shows up in overalls and looks like work, though. I mean, we're not playing, it's,
Right.
we're working hard. I mean, it's 5-star guest service every day. It's not an easy task.
So you also talk about your last OMG about getting a coach, and that's become a big, big, big deal for you. Talk about that.
Yeah, I don't even know where it came from. I think probably just a conversation with you. We were stalled. We were down in single digits again in growth, and again, I didn't understand why, or I really didn't know. But I try to be the vision that this team needs. And so as I started looking ahead of what is 3 years, 5 years look like, it was fuzzy. The water was mucky. It was gray. I couldn't really see the black and white. And so I thought the only way to get clarity was to get someone back in the salon that could help throw the puzzle pieces out and put them back together. And that's exactly what Michael's done for us. So
I remember on the telephone, you and I were I'm in the room next to my studio, and we were thinking through, okay, what's next? And Michael came on, and the rest is history.
Yeah, and now we're back into double digits, and that's where I like to be.
Yeah, I know. You're persevering and very, very committed and focused to that movement. Now, I've got your Facebook page on my iPad because you are doing some really, really innovative videography with commercials and how you're making them and where you're placing them online, where you're strategically placing them in your salon, your spa company, and the sales that they're getting. So tell us about that piece.
Yeah, so thank you for that. We started playing with Animoto about 10 years ago. Granted, Animoto now is the program that we use to link these commercials together. The commercials we create on Waymark. It's $9.99 a month. You enter the information, you pick your schematic, and then the video gets created, and now we stream them together. So it's super simple to do. It has made such a difference in our brand, and we're real brand specific at State of Mind. That video gets changed 2 times, sometimes 3 times a month. It plays in our lobby. It plays on our social. Our guests that walk in that are walking around looking at product are seeing promotions. They're seeing new services. They'll watch that video and walk straight up to the desk and ask to reserve the visit. So it's doing for us what a concierge would be doing in the lobby, except for it's doing it 120 seconds at a time over and over all day long. And it doesn't change the message.
And you were literally playing with this until you were producing them yourself, and now you've got somebody in your company that you've trained to do this. So, I mean, I'm looking at, these are production value videos, Pattie. We were chatting about this. You outsource this, and it's probably going to cost you $1,000 per finished minute or more. So this is a big, big part of your branding.
Yeah, we did outsource it originally for years, and it did get too cost prohibitive. So again, the young talent team that we have is just constantly showing me different ways and new ways to stay where we need to be.
Nice. Well, listen, we're running way over because I wanted to run way over to get as much of your wisdom for our viewers as we can. I know it's been a long day for you. We're going to edit this tape. We're going to turn this into a micro learning. It's going to live on my IGTV channel and Summit's YouTube. So I want to thank you a lot. And I before you leave, you got to promise me you'll come back for an encore as you continue to learn new things, because you're a learner on steroids.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael.
All right, give it up for Pattie Kobe one more time, will you guys? All right, I'm going to wrap it up, and then I'll talk to you in a couple of days or so.
Okay, thanks,
Stay
Michael.
well. Give it up one more time, you guys. That was nothing short of amazing. I really want to make sure that you get what she was pointing to. If you go to her salon's Facebook page, it's State of Mind and Salon and Day Spa. You will see the commercials. Now this was one of many commercials that she did on an app featuring her people, featuring services. She features her spa services, and now her people have learned this. Christy, a massage therapist, I was just watching something that she put on her Instagram channel that she built, and a different spin on massage services. So follow State of Mind Salon and Spa on both Instagram and Facebook. So it's been a heck of a show, and if you're new to us, keep hanging with us, because this particular channel that you're on, it's Michael Cole Summit on Facebook. It really is our learning channel, if you will, for using social media and digital strategically to blow up sales, whether you're a service provider behind the chair, blowing them up on your clientele, or the salon. Now, the other thing I want to tell you is Pattie, this video will live on this page, and then we're going to edit it down to a micro learning of 3, 4, 5 minutes to get the essence of it, and then that will be put on our IGTV channel, Michael Cole Summit, on Instagram, and then hit the IGTV button, and we have just a library of micro learnings there. So it's really, really cool. It's a new feature. I want to encourage you to do that. Our Bible, which is our script guide, our social digital script guide, is the new piece that people are using along with the social digital planner to use social media strategically to fill empty windows of time in our book today, tomorrow, this week, next week, so that and that's really what's blowing it up. That's what's getting people to like $100,000 in W-2 income inside of a 36, 48-month window, which is unprecedented. By the way, we have a new Netflix, if you will. I call it the Summit Netflix. It's SummitSalon365.com, where we have most our production value video courses. You can watch them 24/7, 365 for a nominal annual fee. I think it's a couple $100. So look into that big time. Again, it's SummitSalon365.com. You should be we have just an array of online training, Zoom.com, private meetings, social digital intensive boot camps. And so the company is moving very, very aggressively in that area. Call our 800 number for a free complimentary virtual coaching session so that we can show you what's possible on our channels. All of our Facebook Lives are recorded. And they are also edited. They're re-uploaded on Summit's YouTube channel. And we have, I think tonight was 168, 169. They're sequenced. So all of this is for free, you guys. You should be taking advantage of this. You should be also on SummitSalon.com using our calculators to kind of set your annual income goals, and the calculators now, the algorithms break it down to exactly what you want to do a day for a day average to hit your annual income goals. This is how people for Summit are getting $10, $15, $20,000 annual raises by our digital calculators, as well as using our tracking app. So I hope you take us up on that. Listen, we always like to end by thanking L'Oreal Professional Product Divisions. This are their brands, and I absolutely love them. From Redken, Pureology, Kerastase, L'Oreal Professional, Shoe, Pulp Riot now, SE Biolage, Mazzani, Matrix, Baxter. These are our brands. Support our brands, because when you support our brands, this is almost like a private public TV station where we can continue to feed you the content, the knowledge, to grow your salon, to grow your income. But to the degree that you support our brands, they're in a position to sponsor our work and to keep it coming. So thank you, L'Oreal Professional. Thank you, Salon Centric. Thank you, State and RDA. And most of all, thank you to my beloved partners at Summit Salon Business Center. Randy Kunkel was watching tonight, and some of the other consultants and all of our partners. You continue to amaze us all. We are business partners of L'Oreal, and we will continue to serve you. So great night. I want you to give it up one more time for Pattie Colby at State of Mind, and we will see you next week.